everybody, and welcome to the wide world of war. I'm Sonny Todd.
And I'm Bertie Swan.
And we're here to bring you all the blood,
all the carnage,
all the raw excitement of mankind's favorite spectator sport.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Broadcast right into your living room from hotspots around the globe. Today we're going to take a look at a territorial dispute in the Far East,
a coup d'etat and an unstable military dictatorship,
and a possible comeback attempt by one of the third world's most popular tyrants.
But first, let's go down to the jungles of Central America where several teams are battling to the wire for a playoff berth in the upcoming 20th Century World Conflict Championship.
Hello again, everybody. Chuck Gazoo here with Danny Don Stegmeyer on a steamy wet afternoon in the tropics, trying to keep up with all the action down here in the Western Hemisphere playoffs. And the race here in the banana division is as tight as anyone could want and a tough one to keep track of. Right, Danny Don?
That's right, Chuck. You know, half the time I'm not even sure which side's the home team. 1 minute it's the military regime, the next it's the rebels up in the mountains. Gosh, if I didn't have a program, I'd never be able to keep up.
Well, one thing's for certain, Danny Don, and that is the right-wingers are intent on bringing a winner here to the tiny developing nation of Buenos Noches. They've made some important trades in the offseason with the U.S. team and beefed up their offense until now it's ranked second here in the banana division.
Right, Chuck. And at the same time, we've got to keep in mind that Soviet training and hardware give the leftist guerrilla team a very solid look this year, too. So my bet is we're in for a really interesting conflict this season.
As we get closer to game time, we can see both sides taking up their positions in the jungle, waiting for the starting gun. The American coaches are waving from the home team bunkers, trying to get the game started. And a representative from the military government is working with the ushers in the Buenos Noches cheering section, trying to round up some last-minute additions to his team.
The U.S. ambassador is just giving the all-clear signal, so it looks like we're about to get some action in as much a way to playoff series. You know, Chuck, back in '65 when I was a military advisor, I remember we used to go...
And we've got a timeout called. Apparently, the right-wing team has called timeout to change governments.
And unanticipated, but not entirely unprecedented action.
The U.S. coaches are rushing in to confer with the new dictator. And the old dictator gets a big hand from the fans as he's escorted off the playing field to be shot. Well, while there's a break in the action, we're going to take you down to the Middle East and Naval Jansen for a look at this year's Spring Desert Classic.
Thanks, Chuck. Naval Jansen here with Marco Truck Beef at the Middle Eastern Desert Classic, where we find ourselves right smack in the middle of an unscheduled delay, watching a hastily organized halftime show by the members of the OPEC High School Marching Band.
Folks, what happened is this. About 14 minutes ago, to nearly everyone's astonishment, a timeout called by the United Nations emergency referee was honored by both sides. At this point, we can see no sign of a let-up.
You know, the situation here brings to mind a similar situation last spring, when the fans had to suffer through several weeks of peace until both sides could come to a new disagreement.
Well, let's hope this walkout doesn't last as long as that one, Naval. Maybe the opposing factions can come to some new misunderstanding in the next hour or so.
Hey, looks like we're not even gonna have to wait that long, Margot. Here comes an Arab Soviet-built MiG fighter plane speeding across the buffer zone, trying to make a pass over enemy positions in the foothills.
He's past 29 parallel, the 32nd coming up on the 40th parallel with just 5 to go!
Incomplete pass!
And there's a flag down on the 28th parallel. The UN referee has just called offsides on the OPEC team.
And we can see on the instant replay that it was a good call. The airplane was indeed offsides.
Let's listen as the emergency UN referee comes up to announce the penalty against the Arabs.
Offside, Arab team! Shame on you!
Whew, that hurts.
Yes, they'll think twice before they pull anything like that again. Now let's go to Kaz Prisky in Omaha. Kaz?
Thanks, Naval. Hiya, fans. Kaspersky coming to you live from the Strategic Air Command headquarters in Omaha. Here at the Nerve Center for the U.S. Special Defense Team, Armchair General John Wayne Overkill sits in his multi-million-dollar armchair, waiting anxiously for the big game to finally start. General, people all over the world are betting that sooner or later, one or more of the armed conflicts happening now is going to escalate into the big one. What are your own personal hopes and dreams on that one? And do you think this might be the year we're going to go all the way?
Well, let me tell you one thing, soldier. We've been ready for the big game here in Old Sac for 20 years or more. We got a fridge full of beer and pretzels, and I got it set up so I can sit here in my easy chair and watch the whole thing on this big widescreen TV. And see, it's even got a built-in scoreboard, so I know what all the other teams in the league are doing at all times. We never miss a play.
Well, it's readily apparent that the owners of this particular team have spared no expense in putting together a winning combination for the next war.
That's right. We figure that if the other team's gonna go out there and give us all they got, we gotta be ready to do the same to them.
And then what have you got?
You got one heck of a great game. You want a pretzel?
No thanks. General, you're a fine competitor.
Just doing my duty, aiming for first strike capability. And by golly, here comes strike one.
You mean that glowing blip curving across the outside corner of the screen?
Could be a flock of geese. Or it could be a flock of SS-18 screaming across the North Pole from silos in Siberia. Code red, everybody!
The general has taken a seat in front of the screen, passing out cigars and slapping five with his assistant coaches. The blip on the screen is now looming larger and closer to large urban populations. This is no flock of geese. Way back, could be, might be, it is! The whole ball game is over! At the bottom of the 20th century, one hit, nobody left.